Okay, so this is the first review for exam number one, what they're calling exam 0. And here we go. Exam, not exam 0, but they're calling exam 1. Since we had exam 0, that was our, and now this is called exam 1. This is a review. This is the first of a couple, and it's A. So I don't know how many I'll need. Hopefully not more than 3. So this is the first one. Problem number 1 for our review. Getting ready for the exam. Okay, what if you have, starting off with a little bit of a difficult problem, nothing terrible, 7/3 y minus 5/6 equals -5/2 plus 2. So here's what we said that you have to do when you're dealing with something like this. If you have the denominators, you have an equation, right? We have a variable, an equation. It's a linear equation. There's no quadratic here, no squared, nothing. But there's the denominators. There's fractions. There's denominators. Go to your scrap paper. Look at the 3 and the 6 and the 2. Look for the LCD, which is pretty easy. It's 6. 3 will go into 6. 2 will go into 6, and 6 will go into 6. As soon as you find the LCD, multiply all of these pieces by 6. So I'll do a separate line for that. 6 times 7/3 y minus 6 times 5/6. I didn't do a separate line when we did it on the video, but that's okay. I left space, but I didn't leave space here. We'll just do separately. 6 times -5/2 and plus 6 times 2. On the video I put the 6 on the right. Now I'm putting the 6 on the left. It doesn't really matter. But I have to, as soon as I find the LCD, multiply all of the members by the LCD, which is 6. Okay, what happens over here? 3 goes into 6 twice. So I've got 14y in the next line. 6 goes into 6 twice, so they just cancel completely out. So what's left? That's minus. Don't lose that minus. Don't forget that minus. So it becomes -5. Sorry, nothing there. -5. That's it. The 6's are gone. Equals, and then 2 goes into 6, and we have 3 times. 3 times -5 is -15. And 6 times 2 is 12. That's what we got so far. Okay. So now continue. 14y minus 5 is equal, not skipping any steps here, is equal to -3. Minus 15 and 12 is -3. Plus 5 on both sides. Plus 5 on both sides. This is gone. I got 14y. 14y is equal to +2. +2. Divide by 14 on the left. Divide by 14 on the right. And let me put the answer here just to make sure it doesn't go off the paper. And I don't feel like bringing it down yet. Y is equal to 1/7. That's the answer you need, because 2/14 is something that you can reduce, so you must reduce. So y is equal to 1/7. There is problem number 1. Okay, now I'll bring up the paper, and I can, well, actually, I can do one right over here. I might as well do at least get 2 on the paper, on one paper, at least 2 problems. I think I might be able to get more. I don't want to make it too crowded, though. But we do have ample room over here for number 2. So what's number 2? What's problem number 2? You've seen this before. It was on the test. It was on the previous test. Something exactly like this. 24 a to the 5, b to the -6, b to the -6, c to the -3, c to the -3, over 4 a to the -7, no b on the bottom, no b on the bottom, -7, no b on the bottom, but there's c to the 6 on the bottom. Okay, so what do we do? Well, it's going to have a fraction here. Let's not skip any steps again. 24/4, 6 wins on top. 24 divided by 4 is 6. The 4 is completely gone. A5 minus -7. Remember that? When you divide, you have to subtract the 1 on the bottom. So it's 5 minus -7. That's +7. That means it's A12. Minus -7 is +7. The b to the negative 6 we're going to leave alone. We can't leave it with on the answer sheet, on the question. It's going to say they want only positive exponents or no negative exponents. Only positive exponents in the answer. Right? The answer's got to be only positive exponents. So that can't stay that way. But hold on, let's do one thing at a time. So what does this say? Minus 3 minus 6, right? Not minus. There's no, that one had a minus. This one doesn't. Minus 3 minus 6. So it's c to the negative 9. What's on the bottom? Nothing's on the bottom. Nothing turns out on the bottom. But hold on. Wait a second. Wait a second. So now the 24 divided by 4, that would be 6. This turned to 812. This turned to minus 6. B to the negative 6 was left alone. Nothing happened to the b to the negative 6. There was no b here. And minus 3 minus 6 became a negative 9. So there's nothing here on the bottom. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. We're coming to the end. What's left on top? 6a to the 12 is left on the top. But what happens to this b to the negative 6? This gets put on the bottom, but not with a negative anymore. B to the 6 goes to the bottom. C to the negative 9. C to the 9 goes to the bottom. Right? I could have done it in one step over here, but I didn't. I did it all in separate steps. And here is our final answer. There's nothing else to reduce. There we go with problem 1 and 2. Okay, so now the problem number 3 is big enough that I don't want to put it on this paper. Absolutely not. So the best way to go is what we've done many times, and that is to take a clean piece of paper, which should work. There we go. Okay. So now here comes problem number 3, which deserves its own sheet of paper. It might be, it's a little bit on the long side. Not terrible, but a little bit on the long side. X squared plus 3x minus 4 divided by 4x plus 8. That's on the left-hand side. This, take this and divide it by x squared plus 5x plus 4 divided by x plus 2. Okay, now what we've got to do is this. We've talked about this in the past. We have to transform this into a new problem. Nothing major. The one on the left, all those terms on the left, the trinomial and the binomial on the left, stays exactly the same. Just copy it. Don't make any changes. But the one on the right, you flip. It becomes x plus 2 on the top, and on the bottom, where you put the x squared plus the 5x plus the 4. It gets flipped, and as we said before, we can cross out the past because that's no longer relevant. This is what we have to solve. So I'm going to put my scrap paper over here on the left, a little bit uncharacteristically. And I'm going to do we have to factor everything that moves, so to speak. This, and this. This we can't factor. It's just basically going to stay the same. But 3 out of 4 we can factor. So that's what I'm going to do on the scrap paper over here. So therefore, let's go. That one has the factoring job is pretty easy. Coefficient is just 1. It's normal x and normal number afterwards. So solve the riddle. What are two numbers when you multiply them times a times b, you get negative 4. And when you add those two numbers together, you get positive 3, the middle coefficient. Okay, the magic numbers are 4 and negative 1. 4 plus negative 1 is 3. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So the new top becomes x plus 4 times x minus 1 factored. The bottom, you can see what's happening there. So let me cordon this off so I have a lot of room for scrap paper. 4x plus 8. Take out the GCF, the greatest common factor. What's common to this, to these two terms? 4. Bring out the 4. 4x divided by 4 is 4. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So it's x plus 2. So on the bottom, this becomes 4 times x plus 2. Over here, multiply x plus 2. Don't touch. One more scrap paper piece of work here. And that is, again, coefficient's good. This is a 4 over here. Let me try to make it look better. That's a 4. Okay, so we need to solve another riddle situation. What are two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get 4? And when you add those two numbers together, you get 5. Answer, 4 and positive 1. 4 times 1 is 4. What did I just do here? A plus B is equal to 5. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. So it's 4 and 1. So over here, let's go over here and use our magic numbers. X plus 4, this is factored to this trinomial factors to be x plus 4 times x plus 1. And now we look for matches. X plus 4 and x plus 4, gone. X plus 2 and x plus 2, gone. X minus 1, can't do anything about it. Leave it alone because it doesn't match with x plus 1. It's got to be exact. So it's x minus 1. So here's what they want us to do. They want us to realize that x minus 1 is the same thing as x minus 1 is the same thing as minus 1 times x plus 1. Oh, scratch that. Sorry about that. No. Sorry about that. X minus 1 is left alone, and x plus 1 is left alone, and the 4 is left alone, and that's it. Sorry, I made a little mistake on this video, but that's too bad. It's going to take too long to do the whole video over again. So, x minus 1 is good. X plus 1 is good. There's nothing to be done about it. And we have a 4, because they're not all opposites of each other. Only one of them is an opposite of each other. So that little trick couldn't be played. So this is it. This is what the final answer is. As far as what it can't be is x cannot be equal to -2. I don't know if they'll do this to you on the Alex test. It can't be -2, and it cannot be equal to -4, and it can't be equal to -1, because all those things would cause a divide by 0 and a blow up. So it can't be any of these three things. Okay, that takes us to the end of the video because we're about to run out of time anyway, and I don't want to rush the next problem, so we'll just do these three problems on this particular video. Hopefully we'll get more done on the next one.